In Central Florida, a shocking and deeply troubling case has emerged involving a veteran firefighter and his wife. The couple, Sasha Engel, a longtime lieutenant with Hillsborough County Fire Rescue, and his wife, Alyssa Engel, were recently arrested and appeared in court, facing multiple charges related to the unlawful sexual abuse of a minor. This case has left the community reeling, as the details paint a grim picture of betrayal and abuse of power by trusted community members. According to reports from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, the investigation began in April when a 16-year-old boy confided in a trusted adult about an incident that took place at the Engels home in Riverview near Tampa. The boy alleged that Sasha Engel forced him to engage in sexual acts with Alyssa Engel while Sasha watched. This egregious violation of trust and the law reportedly occurred when the boy stayed overnight at the Engels residence in March. Court documents detailing the allegations have been sealed to protect the victim's privacy. But journalists who have reviewed the affidavit describe a disturbing sequence of events that highlight severe misconduct by both Sasha and Alyssa Engel. At the time of the alleged assault, Sasha Engel was serving as a lieutenant with Hillsborough County Fire Rescue, a position he had held since 2020 after a long tenure with the department starting in 2004. His career path saw him move up the ranks from firefighter to fire medic before achieving his lieutenant status. Meanwhile, Alyssa Engel worked as a legal assistant at the State Attorney's Office of the 13th Judicial Circuit from 2018 to 2021. Although the current district attorney was not in office during Alyssa's tenure, they chose to recuse themselves from the case to avoid any potential conflicts of interest. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis issued an executive order transferring the case to the 10th Judicial Circuit, underscoring the need for impartiality in this matter. Both Sasha and Alyssa Engel were taken into custody and appeared in court to determine their bond conditions. Prosecutors requested pre-trial conditions including GPS monitoring, no contact with minors, no contact specifically with the victim, and maintaining a distance of at least 500 feet from the victim's residence, vehicle, and school, despite arguments from the defense suggesting that the charges should be consolidated into one. The judge set a bond of $50,000 for each charge per suspect. While Sasha Engel managed to post bail, Alyssa remained in custody at the time of the arraignment. The response from the Hillsborough County Sheriff was one of outrage and disappointment. In a public statement, the sheriff condemned the actions of the Engels, highlighting the profound breach of trust and abuse of authority involved. It is both disgusting and deeply disappointing to see not one but two adults join together to take advantage of a young child, especially when one of those adults is a trusted authority in our community, the statement read, as the details of the case continue to unfold. One cannot overlook the severe impact such incidents have on the victim. Criminal defense attorney and former sex crimes prosecutor Serena Townsend emphasized the long-lasting trauma experienced by victims of sexual abuse, particularly minors. This case is really disturbing on so many levels, Townsend noted. The fact that we're dealing with a civil servant, public servant, a lieutenant in the fire department, clearly somebody who knows better, who has chosen a job to try to protect us, right? Try to protect civilians. And now he's putting this young boy in harm's way. Townsend also addressed the common misconception that male victims, especially teenagers, are less affected by sexual abuse. She underscored that the trauma for male victims can be just as profound as for females, highlighting the need for sensitivity and support in handling such cases. Studies have very clearly shown, and I've dealt with victims myself, survivors of sex crimes myself, male of this age, and the trauma is deep. They experience it just as much as any girl would, and it lasts. It's long-lasting. An important aspect of this case is the grooming process that likely preceded the abuse. Grooming involves building a trusting relationship with a minor over time to manipulate, exploit, and abuse them. In this instance, it appears that Sasha and Alyssa Engel may have built a relationship with the victim that made him feel safe in their company, only to betray that trust in the most heinous way. Grooming doesn't just happen the first time the boy meets these adults, Townsend explained. There had to have been a process that escalated to the point they felt comfortable enough to commit this crime alleged. The case raises serious questions about how these adults came into contact with the victim and what led to the situation, where the victim felt safe staying overnight at their home. The revelation of such a disturbing crime by individuals in positions of trust has understandably shaken the local community. Parents and community members are grappling with the knowledge that individuals who are supposed to protect and uphold the law could engage in such criminal behavior. The case also serves as a stark reminder that predators can come in many forms, and those who seem trustworthy may not always be so. It's scary for regular people out here thinking, we know how to determine who the predators are in our lives and who they aren't, Townsend reflected. Simply not true, and we've learned that that's not true. It's sad because you don't know who to trust in life, and it just goes to show you that parents and teachers, all caretakers, need to be very careful. As the legal proceedings move forward, there are several key issues that both the prosecution and defense will need to address. Prosecution will likely need to establish the credibility of the victim and present any evidence that corroborates the allegations, such as text messages, phone records, or other forms of communication. The defense, on the other hand, may challenge the sufficiency of the evidence and argue that the charges should not result in a harsh penalty due to a lack of prior criminal history for the accused. One potential complication is the fact that the Ingalls are married. This could allow them to present a united front and possibly coordinate their defense strategies. However, legal experts suggest that it might be in their best interest to seek separate legal counsel, as their individual interests could diverge as the case progresses. This case serves as a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance and the need for accountability among those in positions of power and trust. The actions of Sasha and Alyssa Engel, as alleged, represent a severe breach of ethical and legal standards, and the community is rightfully outraged. As the case continues to develop, the focus will undoubtedly remain on seeking justice for the victim and ensuring that such abuses of power do not go unpunished. In the end, the goal must be to provide a sense of closure and justice for the victim, while also holding the accused accountable for their action. Whether this case will go to trial or be resolved through a plea deal remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: the road to justice is a long one, fraught with challenges and complexity. The outcome of this case will likely have far-reaching implications, not only for the victim and the accused, but the community as a whole, as it grapples with the betrayal of trust by those meant to serve and protect.